Well, hello and welcome from Highcountry Octane Productions or Films. We switch our names up every now and then. HCO Films. So we're coming at you from California again tonight, and the topic that we're sharing is what do we carry in our backpacks in the backcountry. So I'm getting ready for my first awesome power shred session tomorrow, and the first couple rides of the year are usually a good way to pack gear, go through the gear, check everything out, and after a couple rides got everything ready to go. So I'm going with the BCA pack this year, but this is the pack I've been using for a couple of years now, at least 5. Packs everything I need, and I'm going to go ahead and repack everything into the bag, and you guys can just follow along. This is what I carry in California, Nevada, Idaho, Wyoming, Utah. And I'll admit there's times I ride by myself, so I pack this gear with that in mind also. For those who are going to jump on the ride by yourself bandwagon, I pretty much enjoy my time in the mountains. I ride the main trails, play a little bit off the sides, stay around, let people know where I'm going. It is what it is. But I am prepared to take care of myself should anything ever happen. In the past, I've had to make a 12-mile hike out. It was no big deal. I've camped out in the backcountry in the snow on snowmobile multiple times. Our crew digs snow cave cabins in multiple places. There's one here in California, we have one in Nevada, and we've camped out in them overnight. So it's something that I've accustomed myself to. That's all I'm going to say on that. So getting started, I'm going to be packing from biggest to smallest, how I compartmentalize it. First off is my all-metal HMK shovel saw. And as you can tell, I use the living snot out of this thing. Can't live without a saw. So a lot of other folks out there running folding saws. Avi Pro goes in the backpack along with my shovel. Don't leave home without it. I'm a hot rider. I go from hot to cold. Even on a cold day, I can ditch a jacket as long as the moisture's out in the air. So I'll wear the fleece, but most of the times I keep it in my backpack and I'll trade out the coat for a fleece. And if I don't, later in the day, if we're coming out on headlights, when things cool down, I've been out in nice weather when a storm rolls in at midday, had temperature drop 30, 40 degrees in one ride. Always make sure that comes with me for the ride out and for the daily ride. One big pair of nasty padded, nobody ever wears them, trail gloves. I carry a spare set because it always seems like there's a buddy or someone in the group that didn't bring spare gloves or didn't bring padded gloves. And when we've got that chilly 20-mile ride out at the end of an 8-hour, 9-hour ride, I found myself offering up a pair of gloves to friends. I've got the room, so I don't mind packing them. At the bottom of the backpack. Toolkit. Now, most people probably just run their toolkit on their sled. Anybody who follows me knows I run some old gear and I beat the living tar out of it. But you know what? I fixed a lot of other sleds in the backcountry to get us home. I've had to piece together broken A-arms. We've had to rebend skids and bent rails. And a lot of the stuff we've kind of hack job to get sleds off the mountain. I carry a lot more than the regular toolkit. I found this at a Home Depot for like 20 bucks. Full socket set. It's got extensions, driver bits, and a nice case. This is going on 3 years. I'm surprised I haven't busted the case yet. But it's a nice little kit. I'm a big believer in lots of tools. I also carry a full set of wrenches that over the years working on my own sleds, I know these are sizes. Even a little screwdriver with a magnet. Just the last ride, we had one of our riders on an M8 lost the nylock nut off of his upper shock mount on the 2007 through 2011 M8. Shock's ready to fall off. We're 20 miles back on a 50-mile ride, 9 hours on the mountain. So pop the hood, old trick I learned. The nylock nut that holds the stud that holds your exhaust can is the exact same nylock that fits your shock mount. So boom, we stole the nylock, let the exhaust can float in there, stick the nylock on, but we had the wrenches, extensions, socket and ratchet, everything to do it. More tools. Pliers, a ratchet, channel locks, adjustable wrench. These I carry in the seat on the snowmobile. Keep them wrapped in a plastic bag so that if one of the little plastic cases come open, which I've had happen, it'll catch the tools, keep everything halfway somewhat dry under the seat. So, back to my gloves, because I'm packing them in with my ratchet kit. A spare set of light riding gloves, and a fourth pair for me. These are insulated riding gloves. They aren't as bulky and padded, so if I find myself near the end of the day, I want to save my trail gloves out, I swap out to these. And I've gone through 4 pair of gloves in a day, so it's something I pack for. And those I keep in a side pocket. Back at the bottom of my main pocket, an extra pair of dry socks. An idea I caught on Facebook was, one, we all wrap them in a plastic bag to keep them dry. Add 2 grocery bags, bread sacks, something in with your socks. Because when you put dry socks in wet boots, you're going to have wet socks for your night stay or for your time in the mountains. Stick some plastic bags in there so when you stick your dry socks in your wet boots, your dry socks stay dry. Bottom of the bag on the inside compartment. For my M8 and from the newer sleds, I pack an air shock pump or an air pump for my shocks. I've had shocks leak out, shocks blow down. It would have been nice to pack this with me, so I keep it with me now. Back in my side pocket. From my cowboy days up in Northeast Nevada, the silk cowboy neckerchiefs, wild rag. Now, this can come in useful a lot of ways. The one thing it comes in probably the most useful is a triangle bandage. If you need to sling up or splint, keep your neck warm, wrap it around your head. Comes in handy for a lot of reasons. Like I said, most of America probably isn't familiar with these. This is what your working cowboys wear, and you'll see them in the old West pictures in the magazines like Western Horseman, stuff like that. I carry a soft balaclava that I wear almost all the time unless I get hot. I carry a spare insulated one for colder rides or if I get stuck on the mountain. I'll ditch the other wet one from riding all day and I'll have something dry to keep my head warm. And just because I have the room, I'll pack another stocking cap, which I use this to wrap my video camera in, but on a cold overnight, keep your head warm. Extra food, I'm not much of a muff pot guy. Handful of granola bars is good enough for me. Toilet paper, fire starter. I know we all carry this, right? Don't rely on your buddies to do it for you. Getting down to the nitty-gritty, my first aid kit. What I carry in here is a SAM splint, which if you're not sure what that is, it's the aluminum padded adjustable splint that you can use for legs, arms. It's 2 feet long or so. I'm not going to unwrap it. I've got it rolled up in here. 4 big, what are they? 3x3 gauze bandages for cuts, deep cuts, 2 ace bandages, a handful of booked matches, probably 5 books of matches, a cigarette lighter. I don't carry any kind of fuel starter because I carry gas in the snowmobile, and I carry an extra 3 gallons on the Mountain Addiction gas rack. And if something ever comes to a point where I'm afraid we're going to be running out of fuel, and that's becoming a topic of conversation, I carry Gatorade and water. I'll just dump out the Gatorade if I need to and fill that up with gasoline so that if everybody runs out, you still got a bottle of gas to work on getting the fire started. There's Carmex in here, and from my visits to the doctors, I've got my leftover supply of Vicodin and hydrocodone, acetaminophen, just random pills. We've actually had to get into that twice in my history of riding for injured riders. And there's been a day or two where I kind of jerked myself up on the mountain and ended up taking one myself to kind of get some muscles working again. That's the basic first aid kit. Flashlight. New batteries every year. Radio. Working on BCA radios. I love those things. Just hasn't been in the budget at the moment. But the old hand-me-downs that I've had forever are still working just fine. Of course, never leave home without it. Doesn't go in my backpack because it's on my person. Avi beacon. Again, got the probe, got the shovel, got the Avi beacon. Unfortunately, have a little bit of experience on the Avis, and after being involved in 3 of them and pulling a friend out of one, almost losing a friend in another one in years past, and with the history and the way the snow conditions have changed, everybody should be Avi aware as much as you can. Don't leave home without it. Don't put it in your backpack. Don't leave it on your snowmobile. Turn it on when you ride. These are things I'm seeing a lot from the areas I'm riding right now, is guys saying we don't need it where we're going, guys having it on their sled when it's turned off, guys putting it on them but not turning it on because they figure we're not going to be around anything that day. These are all mindsets we're trying to change. Me with HCO and the people I ride with, it's a mindset I'm trying to change. I carry a knife, taped up 4 spare batteries that fit my flashlight, just in case. After a few years of over-baking myself in the sun, and after the last year in California, when in February you can seriously get a sunburn, I just keep sunblock in my backpack now. Had enough of that. And that is pretty much what I carry. I throw a big bottle of Gatorade. One other thing. Bottle of water. Thanks to some other mountain experiences, I've done from plastic bottles to metal bottles. The reason being, as you probably well know, is you can cook this thing on the fire and melt your snow, so you never really run out of water. It's a great idea. Again, I carry a full Gatorade, and I usually carry another bottle of water in the snowmobile seat. I also carry a tow strap, long ratchet strap, so I can use the ratchet part to put a front end back together if we bust an arm or rip a front end out. That's been handy. The strap can double itself around, and it's long enough to use as a tow strap. Comes in handy there. The fun extras, of course, GoPro stuff. Last and not least, I forgot to mention, I carry a spare battery charger. Once charged, this thing will charge a cell phone like I think 4 or 5 times in a row before it's dead. I mainly use it to charge my GoPro once on the mountain with the cold battery, but in a pinch, riding alone, or if you're up in a group and you have problems, cell phones are going dead, you're going to be spending the night, I can plug, you can plug a phone in and keep something charged so that if someone's able to get signal later on, whatever, at least you have the battery pack. So that pretty much wraps up what I carry in my backpack. Feel free to comment on things that you carry, things that you see or missed. Again, the biggest discrepancy you might see is I've seen guys with the, the Vaseline soaked cotton balls, certain fire starters. I've never needed anything like on the mountain. Like I said, I've always had fuel, and I just understand if I'm getting to the point where fuel is going to be an issue, we'll dump the sled upside down, pour the gas out of the tank into a Gatorade bottle, and at least we'll have another, half liter or whatever it is of gasoline. So I've never worried about that. I got plenty of matches, 5 or 6 books, plus the cigarette lighter. I've got the saw, got the knife, can build a shelter, got the shovel, have food, can cook water, and can keep my feet dry, my head dry, my hands dry. Short of that, thanks to Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts at 12 years old, Klondike, we know we can sleep out in the snow and survive. So, thanks for staying with me. It's something I've been threatening to do and got around to it tonight. I know this was a long video. Thanks for following Highcountry Octane. Love us, like us. We're also here to try to further the sport and help educate people learning the sport. We're not just out there trying to make a movie, and we're here for everybody. See you on the mountain.